These are the Lesson 9 activities. This is a calculator active problem. Feel free to use fractions or decimals on this problem. If you use decimals, round your answers to the nearest hundredth. As you drive home from a football game, the number of kilometers you are away from home depends on the number of minutes you've been driving. Assume that the distance varies linearly with time. Suppose you are 11 kilometers from home when you've been driving for 10 minutes, and 8 kilometers from home when you've been driving for 15 minutes. Define two variables in this situation. Identify the independent and dependent. So time is going to be my independent variable. So I'm going to say let t equal the time I've been driving, and the units are going to be minutes because minutes were mentioned in the problem. My dependent variable will be my distance. So I'm going to choose D, distance from home, and again, taking the units from the problem, which are kilometers. Next it says, find the equation for the distance in terms of time. So we're going to start by writing the coordinate of 2 points. I like to write a little key to remind myself that they're going to be in the order T, D. That way, when I pick them out of the problem, it'll be easier. So I see that I'm 11 kilometers when I've been driving for 10 minutes. So that pair would be 10, 11. And 8 kilometers when driving for 15 minutes. So again, that will be 15, 8. Now that I have 2 points, I'm going to calculate my slope using our standard slope formula. So I'll have 3 over negative 5, and I can leave my slope in fraction form. Once I have a slope, I can use my variables to write a linear equation, d in terms of t. So I'll have d is equal to negative 3/5 t plus b. Now I need to find my intercept, and I'm going to do that by using one of the 2 points above and substituting it in and finding b. And once I have b, I can put all this information together, my slope and my intercept, to write an equation. So my final equation will be d is equal to negative 3/5 t plus 17. And that's the answer to the problem. Next it says, predict your distance from home when you've been driving for 20 minutes. So they're giving me t is equal to 20. I can plug 20 into the equation I found and calculate my d. So I'll be 5 kilometers from home when I've been driving for 20 minutes. Next it says, when are you 7 kilometers from home? This is giving me a d and asking me to find a t. So I plug in 7 for d and solve for t. T will be equal to 50 thirds, or we might want to express this as a decimal, which would be 16.67 minutes. Find the distance intercept. So to find an intercept, we're going to let the other variable equal 0. So our distance intercept is going to be when t is 0. So we would have the ordered pair 0, 17. We can use this now to write a sentence. So using both the 0 and the 17. At the start of the trip, or the football game is. 17 kilometers from home. Next, it says to find the time intercept. Again, we're going to let the opposite variable equal 0. And so we'll have the ordered pair when we're done. Will be our time intercept once we find t. So t is equal to 28.33. So that pair would be 28.33 comma 0. So then it'd be after driving for 28.33 minutes, you're 0 kilometers from home. Or in other words, after driving 28.33 minutes, you're at home. What are the units for slope? So remember, our slope formula is our difference in our dependent variable over our difference in our independent variable. So our units are going to be kilometers over minutes. In our problem, our slope represents the speed at which we're traveling. And it's negative because the distance from home is decreasing. Note that this problem will involve fractions. Keep your answers as fractions. The Fahrenheit temperature F and the Celsius temperature C of an object are related by a linear equation. Water boils 100 degrees Celsius, or 212 Fahrenheit, and freezes at 0 degrees Celsius, or 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Write an equation F in terms of C. So F in terms of C is telling us that F is going to be our dependent variable and C is going to be our independent variable. So our ordered pairs will be C comma F. We can use that to take the points out of the problem that we need, very carefully making sure we have C first and then F. And we can calculate our slope. Since we are trying to write an equation, that's always our first step. So our slope will be equal to, we have 180 over 100. We can simplify that down to be 9/5. Next, once we have our slope, we can write an equation. F is equal to 9/5 C plus our intercept. We're going to call that B. And then we can use one of our points from above to find B. So I'm using the point 0, 32. So I plug in the point, and you may realize that that already is the intercept, but if not, and you plug it in, it'll work out. So we see that B is equal to 32. So we can put that information together to finally write our equation. F equals 9/5 C plus 32. Now we can use our equation to answer the question. If the weather forecaster says it'll be 40 degrees Celsius today, what is the corresponding temperature in Fahrenheit? So they're giving us the Celsius of 40, and we're going to calculate F. This problem is from the book Algebra for College Students by Jerome Kaufman and Karen Schweitzer. Two cell phone companies have a fixed monthly charge plus a charge per minute for phone use. Company A charges a monthly fee of $14 plus 6 cents per minute for phone use. For Company A, find an equation. So, each minute you're charged 6 cents, so it's going to be 0.06 times the number of minutes you're talking, plus the initial fee of $14. Company B charges $54.8 for 720 minutes and $46.4 for 510 minutes of use. So we can use this to find 2 points where we have the number of minutes as our x and the cost as our y. We can take these points and find the slope. And just as we've been doing, once we have the slope, we're going to be able to start to write our equation. So our slope was 0.04. So now we're going to put it together and then substitute in a point to find our intercept, just as we've been doing in all of the problems. Once we find our b, we can put all the information together to write an equation for company B. So the equation for company B will be 0.04x plus $26. Now we can find points for each of these two companies based on their equations. So for company A, when you've been talking on the phone for 100 minutes, you can plug 100 into your equation for A and find that you'll be charged $20. If you've been talking on the phone for 800 minutes, again, you plug 800 into equation A above, and you can see you charge $62. In equation for company B, 100 minutes will equal $30 and 800 minutes will equal $58. Which plan is cheaper for someone who uses 100 minutes? So just looking up at the charts, we see it's only $20 for A and $30 for B, so it's cheaper for A by $10. At 800 minutes, it's cheaper to use plan B, and it's $4 cheaper. Now, we can plot these points on our graph below. So first I'm going to plot company A's line. I'm going to plot the point 120 and then 862 and use those 2 points to connect and draw a line for the equation. Okay, and then I can do the same thing for company B. I'm going to plot the point 130 and 858. Then I'm going to connect those points with a line. And we can see, we'll be able to see the difference between these two lines. One line steeper, grows at a steeper rate. Having some trouble getting my line to go where I want it to go. Oop. And that's kind of close. So it looks like company A has the steeper line and that they're charging more per minute for each call. And you can see that the cost is going to be equal at 600 minutes. They both company A and company B will be charging $50 at 600 minutes. A copy machine is worth $8,925 2 years after it's purchased and $3,825 6 years after it was purchased. Define two variables for the situation. So we're going to have our time be our independent variable. That's the age of the copier, and that's going to be in years. And we're going to have our value of the copier be our dependent variable, and the value is going to be in dollars. Again, we're going to go through the same process we've been doing. We're going to write an equation. To start to write this equation, we need to write down our 2 points. They're going to be t comma v. So at 2, we have 8,925, and at 6, 3,825. Once we have 2 points, we can go through the process of finding the slope and then using the slope to find our intercept. Using the slope and one of our points to find our intercept. Once we have the intercept, we'll be able to put both the slope, the intercept together to write our equation. Next, we're going to answer a couple questions about our equation. The first one says, find the time intercept. So the time intercept is when our other variable is 0. So we're going to have v equals 0, and we're going to solve for t. Once we find t, we know that we'll have the ordered pair then. That's 9, 0. So that's at 9 years old, the value of the copier is 0. So that's the sentence that we can then write interpreting the time intercept. 9 years after purchasing the copier, the value of the copier is $0. Find the value intercept. The value intercept, we need to let the time be 0. So that ordered pair will be 0, 11,475. And now, again, we can write a sentence that at the time of purchase, the value of the copier was $11,475. The last question is asking about slope. To find the units of slope, you're always thinking about the dependent variables units over the independent variables units. So it's dollars over years. So, and this slope is negative. So we're looking at the value of the copier is decreasing by $1,275 each year. Or the copier is losing value at a rate of $1,275 per year.